the mountain of Khazd-dûm rose like a rotten tooth from the gray skyline. Its blackened, eroded stones oozed dust like the ashes of burnt corpses, while the thick fog clinging to its peak writhed like a suffocating creature. Below, where the barren earth met the mountain stone, stood the three travelers, Makti, Einar, and Hassan, their horses stamping nervously in the loose soil that emitted a strange odor, a mixture of ancient rust, oil-tainted clay, and the sour stench of animal bones left to rot under the sun. This was the Land of Shadows, aptly named. 2,000 years ago, according to the faded inscriptions on Khazd-dûm's gates, these had been green plains watered by rivers, thriving villages known for delicate textiles, and bustling markets filled with merchants' voices from distant lands. But the War of the Crown tore it all apart when the land's tribes fought over the legendary Crown of Stones. Names like Khalid the Ashen, who repelled northern armies with mountain-like patience, and Layla the Severer, who guarded Khazd-dûm's defenses with her blade's edge, had become whispered tales told on long winter nights. Khazd-dûm itself, this rock-hewn monument, stood as silent witness to lost greatness and stubborn endurance. They entered through massive iron gates whose rusted hinges screamed like dying men. Two guards in stiffened leather armor, their faces hidden behind battered metal masks, revealing only eyes accustomed to suspicion and boredom, assessed them with calculating stares before waving them through. The interior tunnels felt like the intestines of some dead giant. Flickering blue light from the glass lanterns hanging on corroded hooks cast twisting shadows on damp walls. The air was cold enough to make teeth ache, thick with the smell of deep-rooted mold and the faint bitter tang of burning herbs from some unknown source. Their footsteps echoed weakly, like a faltering heartbeat within the mountain's stony chest. In the central chamber, where stone carvings depicted distorted stars and mythical extinct creatures, stood Zaid. The sage they'd known in younger days now appeared weathered by the mountain itself. His long white beard, tangled like the ropes of a sunken ship, brushed against his frayed black robe where tarnished silver threads peeked through like scars. The deep wrinkles on his face resembled erosion patterns, but his gray eyes, though seemingly capable of seeing beyond the veil, burned with the unquenched frustration of a scholar who'd realized the universe's secrets dwarfed his libraries. His heavy wooden staff, carved with obscure symbols and topped with a twisted star, rested on the cold stone floor that reflected the blue light like dead eyes. Hassan laid the girl gently upon a smooth stone bed in a shadowed corner, handling her like a jeweler placing a precious gem in its case. Even beneath layers of pain, dirt, and dried blood staining her torn silk dress, her beauty was startling. Her pale skin, like unblemished porcelain, held a faint glow like moonlight trapped beneath the surface, while her long black tangled hair shimmered under the dim light like enchanted silk. Her thick dark lashes fluttered over closed eyes as if battling inner storms, and her delicate lips trembled intermittently. The silver necklace with its distorted star pulsed weakly at her throat like a dying creature. There was a regal weight about her, as if she bore the memory of an entire world on her fragile shoulders. Zaid's voice rustled like wind through an abandoned cave. The mountain remembers your faces, but sees unfamiliar shadows upon them. His staff gestured toward the girl as his eyes scanned her like deciphering an ancient manuscript. This thorned flower you've brought from shadow, what prison surrounds her soul? My eyes perceive walls around her spirit. Makti wiped road dust from his brow, weariness bowing his shoulders, but his eyes alight. 3 weeks we've fled with her, Zaid, found her in the forest of eternal moans, running as if all earth's demons pursued her, nearly threw herself into our campfire, seeketh salvation in flames. Her ravens were riddles, broken words, half sentences. His voice dropped when mentioning them. Then the riders came. 2 figures from nowhere, armored in darkness, masked faces without eyes, weapons bearing no smith's mark. A word rang through the air. Khazar. They called her Key, demanded we surrender her. Their black blood soaked the grass, but their question lingers in my throat. Hassan stepped closer to the stone bed, his voice soft as underground water, hands clasped behind his back. In her delirium, Zaid, one clear word, Khazar, repeated like a spell binding her to life. Now her breath hangs by a thread. He paused, an old pain flashing through his eyes like lightning. Leaving her here would be repeating my crime. The day I left Sarah in that burning house because I feared the dark, this time I'll face the darkness even if it consumes me. Einar's laugh exploded like a sick man's cough, his palm slapping a nearby stone column. Crime? Hassan, your words are like mirages in this wasteland. This girl's a walking curse. Since her appearance, swords chase us like flies. Death greets us each dawn. Isn't that sign enough to leave her with our old sage and move on? Zaid raised his hand slowly, his voice like a muffled alarm bell. This land, Einar, wasn't always shadow. His staff tapped a mournful rhythm as he walked. Imagine green plains stretching to the horizon, the chime of loom houses keeping time, markets fragrant with southern spices, children laughing in marble alleys. That's what was, before the War of the Crown scorched life from the land. Khalid the Ashen stood at these very gates, his blood mingling with the earth defending the lost crown of stones. Layla the Severa, her blade's echo still lingers in the deepest tunnels. He stopped before the girl studying her necklace, and she carries a secret perhaps older than all this. Khazar, a word ghosting through crumbling manuscripts. This symbol? He pointed to the twisted star. I've seen it in an incomplete tome from the mountain's library. It speaks of primal power, but the pages explaining it were torn as if by fearful hands. Makti stepped closer, the firestone at his neck suddenly warming like live embers. The key! That's what they said. Key to what door? Zaid, I see her face every night, standing at the edge of some unknown world, hand outstretched. Is she calling? Warning? This doubt eats my soul. Zaid shook his head slowly, bitter frustration in his eyes. The door, if it exists, may be a curse we invite seeking treasure. Khazar could be key or bait in a cosmic trap. Even stars have forgotten. Our library holds thousands of manuscripts, but the truth about the War of the Crown and Crown of Stones was erased or destroyed deliberately. My ignorance of this secret, Makti, is the knife gnawing at my heart each night. Einar yanked his firestone from under his shirt, polishing it violently with his sleeve, voice trembling with anger. Knives, look at our knives. He pointed to a deep gash on his arm. These stones have been curses since we found them in Yellow Terra's trash heap. Let's leave them here with the girl and return to where we belonged. Some quiet village, a clay house, honest work in fields or workshops. Anything far from this madness. Zaid whirled on Einar, voice rising like distant thunder, eyes blazing. Quiet? Was your life in Yellow Terra's depths quiet? Remember, Einar, remember, hunger gnawing your guts like starving rats, cold piercing your bones like ice daggers, the filth that was your bed and blanket. The stones chose you because you carried fire unquenched by that hell. Fleeing them is fleeing yourselves, the fire that may save or burn you, but is you. A stone-heavy silence fell. Einar shrunk like a scolded child, gaze fleeing to wall shadows. Hassan turned his face to the girl, hands trembling slightly. Makti squeezed Einar's shoulder briefly before addressing Zaid. Makti, help her, Zaid. Use all your knowledge. We'll return after gathering our breath. Makti and Einar left the chamber, leaving Hassan sitting vigil by the stone bed, his eyes never leaving the girl, hands gripping his warhammer's haft like an anchor in stormy seas. They navigated Khazad-dûm's tunnels toward the lower levels where life, if it could be called that, throbbed with misery. Dim shops, hissing steam from primitive underground workshops, peddlers hawking shoddy wares, children screaming over dirty bread scraps, the stench of sour sweat, burnt machine oil, rotting meat, and cheap liquor hung like a toxic mist. They found a low-ceilinged tavern called the Broken Hoof's Rest. Inside, guttering candlelight revealed exhausted faces, some sleeping on tables, others staring vacantly. They took a dim corner where the smell was bearable, ordering bowls of thin bone broth with misshapen carrot bits and bread hard as pebbles. Einar cracked bread with a sound like gunshot in the silence, red-rimmed eyes fixed on Makti. Stop hiding from truth, Makti. When did you last sleep without nightmares? Your face tells of a man carrying mountains. Makti turned his empty wooden cup, the scraping loud on the table. Dreams. No, visitations. Since we took her from the forest, she comes, not in deep sleep, but in that murky space between waking and dreaming, standing there at the edge of a golden hazed world, crystal cities glimmering afar, rivers of light, her hand reaching, calling, warning. This unknown splits my heart. He studied his clasped hands. Sometimes I smell flowers unseen here. Real flowers, Einar, not these land of shadows thorns. Einar stared at his firestone, voice world-weary. Remember when we found these curses in that trash mountain among bloated rat corpses and broken glass? Felt it pulse in my hand like a trapped bird's heart. Thought it our salvation. But it began this maze. This girl's another link in the chain. Let's break it here before it chokes us. Makti leaned forward, eyes smoldering. Salvation? In yellow terror? We ate from rich men's discarded tin cans, Einar. Fought alley dogs for bare bones. These stones, he touched his, were the first things that made us feel human, not just pulses. A scream saying, look, we exist, we matter. I want no treasure, Einar. I want life with real flower scents, to see endless green plains, not these black rocks, to hear children's laughter, not starving screams. For you, Hassan, me, even her, a chance to breathe air untainted by death. His voice cracked suddenly, eyes glistening as he met Einar's gaze directly, painful yearning twisting his features. Remember, rain on soil beyond the forbidden district? We were boys, dodging guards, running through wild apple trees. Earth smelled sweet as honey. Here dirt's like ash, lifeless. I'm suffocating, brother. I need out of this land of shadows before my heart turns to stone like its mountains. A single hot tear traced his dirty cheek before he wiped it away violently. Einar stared at the tear staining the rough table, voice thick. Makti. His hand found Mahdi's arm, grip firm yet warm. You're my brother, our blood mixed in that dump soil, but escape to where? Roads are watched by dark eyes, black riders waiting. Even if we left, the outer world knows us not. We're trash-born, Makti. Even flowers might wilt at our touch. He looked away to a drunken man weeping silently. I fear your dream's price may be our lives. I can't bury you in some unknown desert. Makti covered Einar's hand, pressing, eyes still wet, but voice steady. We've prepaid that price, Einar. In hunger, cold, humiliation, if life's the cost to escape shadow, so be it. But I won't surrender, not to this land, nor despair. I promise we'll smell rain on fresh soil again. See true green, not this sickly shade they call green here. Before Einar could respond, a shadow fell across their table. A hulking man with shoulders like twin bulls, his leather armor stained with oil and petrified mud. His face was a road map of scars, most prominent a gash from temple to jaw, twisting his mouth permanently. A long sword in a torn sheath hung across his back. The stench of stale sweat and cheap liquor rolled off him. Seeing their weary appearance and overhearing their emotional exchange, he'd marked them easy prey, his filthy hands planted on their wobbling table. The man's voice grated like glass under boots. Outsiders always bring trouble. This tavern's for quiet. He jerked a thumb at sleeping patrons. 50 silver coins settle your noise, or I'll silence you permanent. Makti looked up slowly, eyes now cold and dry. Our food's cold already. We want no trouble. Let us finish in peace. The man laughed like choking, stepping closer, his shadow swallowing light. Peace? In costume? He eyed Einar's blonde hair contemptuously. Especially with pretty yellow hair here, maybe he'll pay your noise tax. Sweet cheeks! His huge fist punched Einar's shoulder mockingly. Einar rose slowly, a cold smile forming, every muscle taut. Sweet cheeks? Flattered, friend. His twin blade slid free with metallic whispers. But afraid pretty insults you more than me, so let's teach you manners. The fight unfolded brutally, Einar's quick strikes against the brute's raw power until a well-placed kick to the injured knee and a pommel strike left their attacker unconscious in splintered wood and spilled broth. When he wakes, Einar panted, wiping sweat, tell him Sweet Cheeks sends regards. Returning to the chamber, they found the girl awake but empty-eyed, muttering, Where am I? Remember, nothing. Zaid confessed his arts couldn't pierce the shadow wall, blocking her memories that the star necklace was the only key to lost Khazar. Hassan insisted they take her. As they departed Khazad-dûm at dawn, the firestone pulsed in time with the girl's weak heartbeat against Mahdi's chest. Their path ahead shrouded in mist, but their steps steady. Hearts torn between fear and hope, yearning for flower scents they might never know.